Got it this time. Okay, so we're in session. We're ready to go. I'm going to share my screen and get us started this evening. Welcome to those of you that are joining us, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us here. Let's see if we can get the slideshow started. So, again, all my first gen people that are here joining us, thank you so much. It's really wonderful that you are taking time out of your day to be here and to hear our speaker and to learn about what's happening. Some of you may recognize some of the people on the screen and some of you may not. We have two of our people that are our liaisons for the first gen grads in education, Meredith Barrett and Isabel Rubico, and they are actually just finished with their coursework and they're going to be graduating in May. They just finished the capstone about 2 weeks ago. And then we also have Raphael and Edwin who are in their first year in the program, and they'll be introducing themselves as we go along. We also have a very special person that's going to be our guest speaker. So let me get through to the introductions and our agenda. So we have a little bit where we're going to go a little bit around and we're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to have a very special guest speaker, Mr. Jeff Dace. And then we're going to be talking about some of the different things that are available for you through the First Gen program. So you know me, I don't think I have to spend a lot of time on this because you've all had me at least in one class, and some of you too. Just know that I've been around North Central now. This is my 7th year. Delighted to be a part of this program. I am a first gen student myself, so I can really empathize with a lot of the things that I think many of you are experiencing. So let's get the introductions going. So Meredith.
Hello, I'm Meredith Barrett, and I teach social emotional learning to students in kindergarten through 5th grade. This is my 17th year of education. I have my Bachelor's of Arts from Northeastern Illinois University. I have, like Dr. Spellman said, just finished our capstone, so we're graduating in May. So this will be my Master's for Educational Leadership. And then I am currently the PBIS leader, and I created and lead our climate and culture committee. I'm also a teacher mentor.
Thank you, Meredith. Okay. Raphael.
Hi, I'm Raphael. I am a 4th grade teacher currently in Collishaw Elementary, which is in IPSD 204 in Naperville. I am currently the culture and climate lead at my school. I got a bachelor's degree in psychology in Florida Gulf Coast University when I used to live in Florida. And I'm currently in my first year in the Master's of Education and Educational Leadership and here at North Central.
Okay, thank you. Edwin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Edwin Menares. I am a special education teacher and IEP case manager at Maine West High School for Maine Township 207. I'm also a wrestling coach. I won't speak to I've done a lot of schooling, so I won't speak too much about it there. But it is a pleasure to be, part of all of this just because I myself have kind of been one of the ones and the first ones in my own family. My parents immigrated from Mexico, so this whole journey has always been like a good experience to be a first gen. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Edwin. Isabel.
I'm Rebecca. I am a 4th year social studies teacher. I was formerly an English second language teacher, and then I moved back to Gen Ed. This is like similar to Meredith. I'm finished with my master's program and we're graduating in May. So I'm just very excited about that, and I hope you guys are having as much fun in the program as we did, because it was a great way to make connections with people outside of my little Plainfield area that I live in.
Thank you, Isabel. So let's just for a moment, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to ask those of you that are our guests to just do a little quick introduction of yourself so that our guest speaker and our liaisons have an idea of who you are. So Angelica, you're the first one on my screen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angelica Uribe, and I am in the Masters of Educational Leadership program at North Central in my first year. And I'm currently a special education junior high math teacher in Justice.
Okay. Saren, I have you next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Serene Hassan. I am an ESL teacher. This is my 16th year teaching. This is my, and I want to congratulate the two of you that are graduating in May because I'll also be graduating in May from North Central in Educational Leadership. This will be my second master's degree, and glad to be here.
Okay. All right. Yamira.
Hi everyone. My name's Yamira and I'm also gonna be graduating here in May, so very exciting to finish up here and just happy to fellowship with you all. It's always nice to meet people outside of the Dixon building.
Okay. Armika, are you there? She's just coming in. Robert, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. My name is Robert Delgado. I'm a middle school science teacher and also in the Future Leaders cohort, getting my master's in educational leadership.
Okay. Armika, I see you in two places. Can you hear us? Maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get off my phone to get on my laptop. Sorry, you all.
It's okay. You want to introduce yourself to the group?
I'm here. Hi, my name is Armika Tony. I'll be graduating with them as well as May. I've been in education for 18 years. I'm still at work, as you all can see. And I'm just excited to be here and to see you all. And I'm also excited that I have a wonderful cohort to help me and help everyone get through it. So it has been an amazing journey with you all. The ones that's on here, it's been such an amazing journey with you all. I've learned so much from you all. You all come with so much knowledge and so much enthusiasm and so much love for everyone. So I appreciate you all.
Okay. I'm going to throw one caveat in there because those of you that just introduced yourself and said that you're graduating in May, you're walking across the stage in May for commencement ceremony, but you still have to do the capstone with me in the summer.
Exactly.
Just so you don't forget that. Your official graduation will be August, but just ceremony that you're allowed to be in is in May. So just that little, so you don't get lazy on me in the summer. All right, so let me go back to sharing my screen. And oh, excuse me, before I do that, I'm going to unshare for 1 second. I was going to ask you to just smile for a second because I'm going to take a picture. So I can turn it into our folks at the First Gen Center. Okay. All right. So that was our group photo. So I just want to remind you that we have this wonderful Office of First Generation Programs, and you can see some of the people here on the screen. We have Julie Carballo, who's an Assistant Dean of Students for First Gen and all military affiliated initiatives. And we also have Marissa Galegas, who is also an Associate Director for First Gen. And she also deals with the military affiliated initiatives. So anytime you want to talk with these people or work with these people or have conversations with them, they're really wonderful. Even when you're finished graduating and going through commencement, these are folks that would be very, very helpful anytime that you have those kinds of questions. So I'm going to switch over now. Meredith, I think I'm going to turn it over to you. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Okay, so we have some new opportunities for our First Gen graduate students. The first one is we want to feature our first generation graduate students in weekly posts in the Cardinal First social media pages. So that's going to be happening this spring. So if you're interested in answering some questions and being a part of that, please email cardinalfirst@northcentral.edu. And then make sure that you check out the Facebook page as well as the Instagram page. There's a lot of great things up there for you. And it was fun for me to look through this past weekend. And then we're also doing this First Student Voice video. So if you have not checked this out, please go check it out. They have a YouTube channel. I was not able to get access to it this weekend because my internet was not the best, and so the video kept breaking up. But go check this out. If you would like to know more or to find out more about the Cardinal First, please visit the website.
Thank you, Meredith. Okay. I think Raphael, I think you're up next.
Yeah. So another thing that we have is the Tri Alpha Honor Society. The 2026 Alpha Tri Alpha Honor Society induction ceremony will take place on Thursday, April 16th. 6:30 to 7:30 in the Wentz Concert Hall. The email for this did go out already. So the application has opened. It opened in February. Some of the things that you can expect as a result of this, for example, during graduation, you'll get some honor courts. For May and August and December 2026 graduates will go on sale at the end of March. And then we also have Alpha Alpha Alpha. This is a graduate student requirement for memberships. So first gen graduate students will meet the criteria below. That meet the criteria below are eligible. There is a $15 membership fee, which will cover a lifetime membership to the Tri Alpha, and a certificate and a pen. So some of the things that you need to have. You must be a current graduate degree candidate at North Central. Someone who has completed at least 9 credit hours of graduate terms of studies towards a degree. You have to have an overall graduate GPA of at least a 3.5 in all graduate level coursework, and you must be someone that comes from a family where neither parent nor step-parents or legal guardians have earned a bachelor's degree. If you have any questions, you could contact Marissa Gaigalas.
Thank you very much. Okay, Isabel.
So, since many of you are doing the ceremony in May, you probably saw this on the graduation need to know. So there is a first generation pinning ceremony that's going to be the Friday before graduation, so May 1st, starting at 4:30 in Wentz Concert Hall. Family, friends are invited. More details will be sent in April, including the stoles that will be available for purchase for $20. Of course, they want to show off our first generation group, so they want us to wear it for the May ceremony. That's going to be on the Sunday. Each student will get a first cardinal pin that can be given to you by a faculty or staff member of your choice. So all your amazing professors that you fell in love with during the program, you can pick one and have them bestow that pin with you. And then if you have any questions, you can contact Marissa below, but more details come in April. And then because I was reading this and I actually really like this, a lot of the writing services are mostly at campus or through a synchronous appointment. And many grad students have busy hours with their school or just because they're not able to make it to campus. So the Writing Center is piloting an initiative where graduate students can have the online Writing Center supports asynchronously. So tutors can still offer their expertise and guidance, especially for that capstone. That'd be a good thing to go and have somebody just take a look at what you've been writing, what you've been focusing on, without having to make that appointment and add more to your schedule.
Thank you. And Edwin, I think you're going to continue that for us.
Yeah, and so the Writing Center as a resource, it's an excellent resource for all different types of writers. As it was communicated, consultations are free and they can happen at any stage of the process, whether it's at the beginning, like some of us, or for those of you that are going to your capstone, you can have this opportunity to be supported. You would just need to either meet in person or through a virtual synchronous session that you would have to go to this Writing Center. And then you could also do an asynchronous modality, right? So all you'd have to do is just select that Graduate Student Writing Center. You would need to register for that account, and then you would go through the process of selecting your appointment. You would share with them a draft or what it is that you would like for them to kind of review and give you support with. And then those individuals will respond to you within the 72 hours. And then they would give you feedback, ask you questions, and then just kind of continue with the work as a whole. The services, as you can see, are outlined, and the location itself is in this Osterl Library, room 242, Monday through Thursday, from 10 to 7 p.m. And it is open from January 10th to April 23rd. If you do have any specific questions, just make sure to reach out to Jenny Smith. Her email is there, and she is the interim director of the Writing Center.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. I'm going to have our guest speaker, Jeff, introduce himself. Jeff, I've made you co-host. So when I bring this up, I think you should be able to advance the slides yourself. So let's see if I can do this correctly. Okay. So I'm going to let Jeff Dace introduce himself and begin his presentation to tell us about his journey as a first-gen person.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think, hold up, let me see if I can navigate.
There'd be down at the bottom, there should be like a little arrow. You'll see like a pencil and then a little arrow to the very bottom left-hand corner.
Okay.
Do you see a pencil in the bottom left-hand corner?
Yeah.
And then there's a little arrow to the right. That should advance it for you. Nope.
Yeah, I got the pencil, but
Okay, then just I can advance it for you. That's not a problem.
that's not gonna be cool. All right. We'll work it out though.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on. Now I've gone completely wrong. Hold on. Let's stop sharing for a second. Maybe I've got the wrong one up there. This is
I think it's just the slide that says the first one versus the actual PowerPoint.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Okay. I thought I had this practiced, but
Technology, you know, everything.
so much fun, isn't it? There we go. So, click on the start. Okay. All right. If you have, do you have like an arrow to the right? Will that advance it for you? Like on your keyboard at the bottom right-hand side, an arrow to the right or left?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay.
But
All right. Just give me a little nod when you want me to advance it for you. Sorry.
all right. Okay. All right. All right, you gotta go back to the first one now.
Okay.
All right. All right, I'm just gonna do like this every time I want to advance.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I'll pay attention.
Glad to have you all here. Glad to be here with you all today. I'm very excited to share my story and that I think can be inspirational and help you with some nuggets as you're talking about going into leadership. I too am a first generation graduate in my family, and I'm proud to announce that it did not end with me because it has continued since then. So that is a proud moment for me and my family. Let's see if she does it. There you go. All right, we're gonna work together. All right. This is a slide that I always share when I talk about my leadership story. Just as I mentioned, I'm gonna start with the Gordon the slave. I always have that. You see his back. I'm also a survivor of child abuse, and I always connect that with my leadership story because hold on, let me hang up on this person. Hey, I'm doing a presentation. All right. So, I always keep that because that I think has framed how I lead, especially with students, because I don't want any student, whether it's verbal or physically, to be abused. And I always say, as long as you are not psychologically or physically hurting students, do what you have to do to make sure that they reach their full potential. So it's something that has stuck with me. That's an obstacle that I've overcome in my life as far as overcoming my childhood abuse that has also impacted me throughout my life. It has helped me to actually talk about that and help me as a person and as a leader. And as I move on, you can see that's a picture of me. Oh, no, I'm still on that slide,
Okay.
That's a picture of me and my daughter, Jakia. And I know Isabel said, you're a graduate of Plainfield East. My daughter graduated from Plainfield East. She went on to earn her degree at Northern Illinois University, and she is a manager for Sherwin-Williams Paint Company now. And that slide you see, that was when we first went to Disney World, and then her graduation from Northern Illinois. Then the cross, which represents Christ, my belief. No matter what obstacles I'm faced, I know that with him, I will get through that. And then at the bottom, you'll see a lot of those letters. That's when I was a teacher. And those are all letters when I went from teaching to my first leadership opportunity. Because when I was teaching, I had an all male classroom. And that like solidified my career and why I've always done a lot with males in my position. Every year I do a male mentoring program, but regardless of what district I've been in, but those are letters from parents and students that I've always kept, and we still keep in touch. And Daniel Abankwa, one of my students from that class, actually won the Gates Millennium Scholarship. He followed me to my high school. So I have a lot of success stories that come out of that class, but all of that shapes me as a leader and how I lead. And I like to say I lead with my heart. All right, outside of my birthplace, my background, recently, of course, I am the Deputy Superintendent of Rock Island Milan School District here in the Quad Cities of Rock Island, Illinois. Never heard of Rock Island until I was presented with an opportunity to work here. My background, I've been a adjunct professor for Eastern Illinois University, one of the best positions I've had working out of Danville Correctional Center, working with many adult males who were dropouts, who did not get their high school diploma, which actually got their diploma, a lot of them while they were incarcerated, and they were working through Eastern Illinois to get their bachelor's or master's program or a master's degree. And I was also assistant superintendent of diversity, equity, and inclusion in Decatur, and assistant superintendent of teaching and learning. And that's probably the assistant superintendent of teaching and learning. I'm not a title dude, but that was the title that I probably was most fond of, because you don't hear a lot of males over teaching and learning. A lot of times males, me coming up in leadership, we were over culture and climate or discipline and that, but to move up through the ranks and become assistant superintendent of teaching and learning, that's definitely a proud position and a proud moment in my career as a not only an educator, but as a leader. Inside my birthplace, Chicago, before I left to Decatur, Illinois, my positions, high school operations manager, the west side of Chicago, Network 15. I was the chief of schools, Network 12 in Chicago Public Schools, principal for 9 years at Edward Coles on the southeast side of Chicago, Edward Coles World Language Academy. All of the students that went to that school learned Spanish well. The goal was for them to learn Spanish. Everybody didn't take it that serious. And then assistant principal in Chicago Public Schools at my alma mater, Julian High School on the south side. So I was able to go back there and actually be assistant principal. It was strange, but it was also impactful, because when I went back, it was teachers that actually taught me, and now I'm supervising them. So imagine how that felt. And then I started off as a teacher at Robert H. Lawrence Elementary School on the southeast side of Chicago. All right, where has leadership leadership has allowed me to share? These are some of the conferences and articles that I've been able to share my expertise with and print out. I presented at the annual joint conference, which is in Chicago, Illinois. Presented publications about educational reform. I presented for Chicago Principals Administrators Association on data-driven improvement. One of the things you'll always hear me say is, where's the data to match your articulation? So you can articulate about it, but how is that improving your overall school climate? And then I've written an article with engaging parents. Taking me away from home, domestic. I've presented in Houston, Texas on community engagement, maximizing the impact for students. Presented Washington, D.C. This is me and my assistant principal. We always like to think outside the box. So one of our presentations was hip hop principles from outcast to outstanding. And I also spoke in Madison Metropolitan School District on Let the Data Speak conference. And that was about the increased achievement that we made with Black males when I was a principal. Also away from home, I presented on, again, the impact of male presence, the positive impact that it can have, and male exposure. One of the things I was proud of when I was a principal, I made it. It was my goal that all of my students at least saw a male teacher before they left the building. So I had at one point I had 9 male teachers, which is kind of unheard of in an elementary school. But my students in primary, intermediate, and middle school all had the opportunity to engage with a male teacher before they left my elementary school environment, and that definitely impacted our positive growth when I was principal of Edward Coles Elementary School. Leadership, where it has taken me away internationally. I am, well, they discontinued it, but I was the educational liaison for the state of Illinois, where they would send us to Washington, D.C. to go over practices, particularly when COVID-19 hit. I was also a part of the educational technology resources. I've gone from that program to Washington, D.C., Barcelona, Germany. I was also part of the Chinese Bridge delegation, a week-long program that took us to Beijing, China, to find out glean best practices from, or what we could bring back to the United States and our particular schools from that experience. And also, I was part of the Brazil Administrators Exchange Program, where they sent 2 administrators here when I was a principal, and we showed them, the U.S. educational system. And then I went to Brazil, Sao Paulo, actually got a chance to sit down with the director of education of Brazil and literally had a glass of Jack Daniels with the director of education. So that was definitely a highlight of my career. Some of the things as first gen. Now, we talk about first gen, but I also have a lot of firsts in my career. You'll see a lot of these articles. The first superintendent to receive a 5-year contract extension in Decatur Public Schools. Board wanted to give me a $30,000 pay adjustment for my work in Decatur Public Schools. And I'm the first deputy superintendent in Rock Island, Milan School District. Don't advance this yet, because one thing I want to say is, especially one thing that I will share, or a nugget that I want to give you all, is research. Research if you're moving from your district, because right now you probably all know your district, but if you're moving from your district to another district, please research those districts, look at those board meetings, see what's going on in those districts, because although I share this, every last one of these highlights right here received opposition, pushback, and pretty much had some damaging articles and content for my career. That $30,000 bonus, although it may look, oh, that's great, you're doing good work, the community went into an uproar about that, because most of the people in Decatur didn't even make $30,000. So you can imagine if they're trying to give one guy who hadn't been there for a while a $30,000 bonus. The union actually protested my 5-year contract extension. I was only there for 6 months, and in hindsight, I could say, okay, I get it. I hadn't proven myself or anything, but who's going to turn down a 5-year contract extension? Because that gave me a little security. But again, it goes to the research, and I'm pretty sure if anybody looked up my name before this presentation, you saw some articles out there about me as the first deputy superintendent in Rock Island, Milan School District. Although I'm the first, I've received controversy ever since I've taken this position. I'm open, I'm transparent. I've been investigated every year since I've been here. November 2024, May 2025, and I just came off of admin leave in February of 2026. So that's why I say research the places that you're going. I've had a great career. I've been on a positive trajectory, but it has also been met with opposition. So when we talk about first gen graduates and we hit that line of first, sometimes people are not necessarily agreeable on you being the first of something within their district. So just wanted to, I share the good, the bad. I use that a lot, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've had a lot of good, the bad, and the ugly throughout my career, but it goes back to that cross. I have one of my sayings is, well, I think that's on the next slide, actually. Yep. Yep. Motto, mantras, and motives. One of them, this is my signature. If we highlight our strengths, our weaknesses will disappear. And that pretty much goes with, focusing on the positives. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. We always want the best, but you also have to, what if things don't necessarily go right or go this way? So always have that contingency plan or think about that. One that I use a lot and I still do, treat them as if they're your own. I actually had that plastered around my school building because at the end of the day, these are our kids. When no matter how they come, our checks don't say, hey, you get all the good kids. So no matter how they come to us, treat them as if they're your own. Everybody knows my daughter's name is Jakia Dace, and if that kid is in front of me, no matter what he or she name is, I want the same for them that I would want for Jakia. So treat them as if they're your own. Have faith. One set of footprints. Again, it goes back to I've had some obstacles that I'll have to overcome, but it's a poem out there about one set of footprints. When you see one set of footprints, God is carrying you. So I go to that a lot when I face obstacles, when I face adversity, and I just pray and hey, I'm here now again as deputy superintendent on an upward trajectory throughout my career. And at the end of the day, I need to be proud of what I see in the mirror. And that deals with integrity. Leadership, you're going to have a lot of people in your ear, in your face that want you to do things that don't necessarily agree with your compass or your moral compass. So as a leader, and I shared this when I interviewed for this position. You can rest assured, you can turn your head, you can sleep at night, and I'm gonna do the right thing by kids and the right things for the district. Now, that may cost some people, but are you willing to risk that? And that's one thing that I'm proud of throughout my career is that I did not have to sacrifice myself and sacrifice what I believe in to still have a prosperous and positive trajectory in my career. And then I just added that at the bottom, Larry Bird, John Elway, because I think Dr. Spellman, we was talking about, you mentioned Cubs, the White Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, and Michigan. That's why I had this tie on. NCAA. I'm wearing this tie until Michigan wins the championship. So go blue for them. But yeah, just to share a little. Now, this is thank you all for having me. But one thing that I did want to share with you all, when you click this link or this QR code, although I'm asking for feedback on this presentation, I also gave you a format of how I take feedback when I give my principals their professional learning. This is something that me and Edwin was actually talking about on our last call. It's like, and you all know, being in a educational district, we spend a lot of money on professional development and professional learning, but a lot of times we do not assess whether that has been beneficial or whether it has been a valuable use of people's time or a waste of their time. So one thing that I do, and I ask of my directors because I'm over student services and safety and security, is when you present to people or you present to your department, always get feedback because we want to make sure that we're maximizing and getting value out of their time. And I'm just a strong proponent that we don't do that enough when we're talking about professional learning and actually utilizing people's time, that we're putting quality stuff in front of them instead of just wasting their time. So I just gave you a format. You can look at that. I think the first two questions are asking you to give me feedback on my presentation today because I'm all about, no matter how long I've been in the profession, it's all about improvement. So thank you all for that. I think questions and answers.
Well, just wait for a second. If you need to take that QR code snapshot, I'll give you just a second to do that before we do, and I can also bring it up later. But
okay.
We're now to Q&A. So let me stop sharing so that we can see all of our participants. That's a lot of information, and I'm sure you have some questions about Jeff's journey and his experience as a first-gen leader. So let's open it up to questions.
Hey, Jeff, this is Robert. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I really, what I found very valuable was the idea to research the place you are looking to go to.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you gave some concrete example about going to the board meetings to kind of get a sense of the culture and what's going on in a district. What other pieces of advice can you give on how to research a place that you're going to make sure it's the right fit for you?
Yeah, and you don't necessarily nowadays, you don't even have to go physically to the board meetings. Everything is mostly online. Their minutes, the minute recaps, the videos are online, and then just Google. A lot of times you can Google the district, and sometimes things come up of parent complaints or positives that match what you want to see in a district or that matches your leadership style. So yeah, a lot of things are on the website of the district, but I would just say, do a Google search and you'll see some things that come up. Go on their website and see, what are they posting? Because what are they saying about the district and the leadership? So I think that's a great place to start.
Good question, and thank you for your answer. Other questions?
Thank you.
I just want to say I appreciate you and your transparency, especially talking about the invisible taxes that there are in leadership, especially when it comes to leaders of color or leaders who are maybe the first to do something that could be controversial in their district. I think right now in the journey that I'm in, there's a lot of different people saying just pick, move into leadership. But I've kind of been thinking along the lines of what you've been saying, like research the districts, look at the board meetings, because you might do something great over here, but then over there with the next person, it might be controversial to them and it might stir up a few things. So I just really appreciate you putting that in the atmosphere, because I think more than ever, especially with the rifts across the state of Illinois, that's adding the culture and climate of the schools that were already very stretched thin. So I just really appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, and what I tell people is, especially like if you're going in a position that's like an assistant principal, dean, that's under the principal, also research that principal, because principal, that's like a marriage, especially if you're like a assistant principal or dean. That's like a marriage. You got to work with that person. And I've seen some people get into those assistant principal positions, and the principals are working them like a dog. They're just putting everything on them. So it's like, yeah, it seems attractive, but when I say research the district, also research the person that you're going to work for. So if you're going to a district, and let's just say I'm student services, research that director, because Google has a lot of things out there. And if it's something out there, most of the times it's going to pop up, but also research the person that you are going to work for. Yep.
Thank you. That's a really smart piece of advice that I would have never even thought about.
Yeah, I've had extensive experience, and if I can avoid anybody going through some of the pitfalls that I've gone through, not like, and some of them are not like just because I've been naive or whatever. It's just the culture and climate that you go into. You are entering another culture and climate. Most educational fields are different. Yeah, it's education, but how has been their culture and climate, and what have they been used to doing? Like, I've gotten a lot of positions off of what I've done in Chicago, which has been, accountability, data driven. However, I've gone into cultures who have not been used to that, and that has created pushback for me. So you want to make sure it's a great fit as much as possible. And nothing's going to be perfect, but at least going in. Yeah.
I love your comment that it's like a marriage, which is true. I mean, it has to be that kind of a marriage or a partnership where you complement and work together. And if not, it can be a very, very difficult situation. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to want a divorce quick.
Been there, done that, yeah. With schools, yes, yeah. I think that, yeah, I've changed before I came to the college level, I changed districts a few times, and yeah, when it's not a good fit, it's worse than a bad marriage and a divorce. It's not healthy mentally or physically for people. So
Yeah, yeah. I had 1 year left on my contract when I left Decatur, and I'm making $173,000. But I started looking for another position because the district where the district was headed did not meet my moral compass. And yeah, you could stay there and collect the money and everything, but when it starts messing with your psyche, that's when I know, yeah, it's time to, and I can deal with quite a lot, but yeah, it's time to move.
well, I'm tickled that you use the term moral compass because these guys have heard that from me a lot. So,
Yeah.
and I did not tell them to say that. So,
Yeah.
any last questions? We're at our time of 4:45, and I want to honor both Jeff's time and all of yours because you've been so generous. But any last questions?
I had a question towards Raphael about Isabel, I'm sorry, about the stoves, because I did the ceremony last year. So I was just trying to figure out, like, I don't have the stove, so where would I purchase that at?
I
Uh,
think they're sending an email, right? For the first generation thing. Yeah, they're supposed to send an email about that. It said April. I emailed her like earlier to ask for myself on when that's coming out because I bought my gown, but she said that this should coming out probably, I would say, beginning of April. If you don't see it, I would contact the email that was on that slide.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's pull the slide up so that we can go back for that. See if I can get the right slide now too. So, uh, nope, the wrong one. Okay, let's try again.
If I like see an email pop up or she sends me anything, I can always contact Dr. Spellman and she could send it out to everybody too.
Yeah, and I will send, actually, that's probably the easiest thing. I will send a PDF of this presentation to all of you this evening. So all the contact information will be on there. So I'll send my PowerPoint. And Jeff, is it all right if I forward your PowerPoint as well?
Yes, please. I think I included my information. If you want to share my information, like I say, I feel like we open and close doors for each other. So if I can be of any positive assistance for any of you all, please reach out.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing your time. I know you are a busy man with an important job, and it's been great having you speak with all of us. So, all
No
right,
problem.
we're 2 minutes over. So thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you. And I will be seeing Edwin and Raphael in a few months, but the rest of you I will see in May at the graduation and at the capstone as well. So take care, be safe, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Senor. Thank you, Dr. Spellman.